Hello, dear children. I hope all of you are fine there at your places. And now, today we are going to start our first chapter, that is an approach towards the past. All of you know that there are three branches of social science which you are studying. First is your history, political science, and your geography. So, history. What is history? Knowledge that is gained from the study of past is called history. History tells us about our, our rich past, that how people lived, what they ate, what they wore, and what they what types of houses they built. We know that that the present cannot be understood without understanding the past. So, in order to understand the present, we have to understand the past first. So, the people who describe the past are known as historians, or the person who study past are called as historians. Now, let's see what is the importance of history. History gives us knowledge about kingdoms, dynasties, kings, and leaders. It deals with life and activities of ordinary people. It helps us in understanding both past and present. It guides people to set goals and tell them not to make the same mistakes again. Continuous development by studying literature, religion, art, and architecture. It also helps in understanding the basic nature of the society. So, we have seen that these are the various importance of history. Let's see, dear children, who was called as father of history. So, Herodotus. Herodotus was a Greek historian who was born in Halicarnassus, Caria, which is present-day Bodrum in Turkey, and lived in 5th century BCE, that was around 484 to 425 BCE. The word history comes from the Greek word historia, which means knowing or learning by inquiry. As you earlier learned the definition of history, that is knowledge that is gained from the study of the past, is called history. So, through history, we come to know about various events about our rich past. And look at this map showing the area Turkey. Yes, so this is the political location or of the map of the Turkey, as you are seeing on the map. Historians has divided past into two periods: prehistory and history. Prehistory was the period when writing was not invented. जब लिखते नहीं थे लोग. Human being did not know how to read or write. No written records of this period was available. No, we come to know about this period through archaeological sources such as tools, coins, bones, pots, and jewelry. So, prehistory was the period when there was no writing, people do not know how to read and write, and so that is why no written record was available. And we come to know about through archaeological sources. Second period which historians used to talk about is history. History is that period in which written records are available. Writing was also invented. Earlier writing done on the barks of birch trees, clay tablets, palm leaves, copper plates, and rock pillars. So earlier people do not have these paper to write. So that is why they used to write on the bark of the bark of the trees, and on tablets, on palm leaves. They used to write on copper plates, on and rock pillars. We will discuss this in later slide in broader perspective. Now, sources of history. Actually, we know that we learn from the past. Even historians used to study the remains which was there in the period which which was gone away. By study these remains, archaeologists and historians tells us what was happened in the past. So, with these sources, we come to know about that what was happened in the past. So, history is divided into two periods. One is the archaeological source, and other is the literary source. Archaeological sources includes non-written form of literature, artifacts, monuments, coins, and inscriptions. And literary sources include written form of material which in which literature is available. Literature is also of two types, that is religious literature and secular literature. Now let's talk about archaeological sources in detail. These archaeological sources are direct evidences or physical evidences. I told you these are in non-written form. So, what archaeological sources are? These are the physical evidences which we can see with our eyes that what is there present in the previous culture, what was there present in the ancient time, what artifacts they used to people use at that time. So objects of different kinds made by humans in the past, it includes metal object, pottery, ornaments, jewelry, weapons, and sculpture. As you can see the pictures of all these objects on your in your slide, like metal objects are there. These types of metal objects were used during the ancient period, which archaeologists used to excavate these from the various sites. Even ornaments like this, pottery like this, weapons like this, even the sculpture, this kind of sculpture was used to prepared during those periods. Next source which we are having, that is monuments. Old buildings, ruins of building, old buildings, ruins of buildings, temples, stupas, mosques, tombs, caves, palaces, and old settlements. They tell us about historical importance and information of past heritage. Like Nalanda in Bihar, reveal ancient system of education. Archaeological excavation in Indus Valley about 5,000 years ago. In next chapter, in chapter second, we are going to discuss about the this Indus Valley civilization, in which we are going to discuss this in detail. So major excavation sites are like Mehergarh, Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Lothal. These are the major excavation sites from where these kind of metal objects, pottery, they gain from there. So that is why we come to know about that what how people used to live in the past. Coins are also valuable source of information which tells us about the different periods of kings, their rule, and how they are having their relationship with the neighboring countries. So with these coins we also come to know about the various information. Usually these coins are made up of gold, silver, copper, and other metals. Like at some point of time people used to use these punch marked coins. Then Mohar of Akbar was used during the reign of Akbar. And then Indo-Greek coins was also used. Like today we use 1 rupee coin or 2 rupee coin. At some point of time people were using these type of coins for their purposes. Let's talk about inscriptions. Inscriptions are written records engraved on rocks, pillars, copper plates, cave walls, walls of temples, and palaces and on clay tablets. The study of inscription is called as epigraphy, and the person and the method of epigraphy is called as epigrapher or epigraphist. So these inscriptions tells us about various events which were happened in the past, various rulings, declaration of ancient rulers, that what kings used to declare at that time, different arts, what was the relation of the kings with the neighboring rulers. So inscription tells us about all these things. And plus another, there are some advantages of writing on these hard surfaces. Like, hard surfaces are long lasting. They overcome all chances of destruction from all objects of nature. Like, there will be no destruction from wind, rain, if sun, if severe heat will come, it is not going to harm the rocks or walls or any stone. And it is also preserved for the future generation. We, with the help of inscriptions, we come to know about our past and our cultural. So these are some of the advantages we can say of inscription. But if we will talk about the disadvantages of inscription, that then it is not portable. Then we cannot carry it from one place to another. Portable means we cannot carry it from one place to another. Plus, writing on such a hard surface is a very difficult task. It needs lot of time to write on this hard surface, because it is not easy to write on a stone, na, or on wall. That is why it took a lot of time to write on it. Plus, it requires a lot of time to complete the writing. When you are writing on the stone or any wall, it will not complete in 1 or 2 hours. It will take much time to complete it. So these are some of the advantages as well as disadvantages and about inscription. But you have to remember this, that inscriptions, these are written records which are engraved on rocks, pillars, copper plates, cave wall, temples, palaces. And the study of inscription is called as epigraphy. Second source which we are going to talk about is literary sources. Whatever our ancestors wrote is an evidence. Whatever our ancestors wrote is an evidence. They are in the form of written records. And let me tell you about manuscripts. What are these manuscripts? These are handwritten records of the past in the form of books, and they are usually written on palm leaves or a birch bark. ओके, बिर्च ट्री की जो bark है उसके ऊपर जो लिखा जाता है, that is handwritten records of the past, that is manuscript. In these pictures you can see that these are the pile of manuscripts which was written on the birch tree bark, which was written on the bark of the birch tree. This is a tree called as birch tree. On its bark people used to write. Okay, so these are the literary sources. If we will talk about the literary sources, then these are further divided into two types, that is religious literature and secular literature. Literature means written works, especially those considered as superior and lasting artistic merit. So we can say the great written works are called as literature. So religious literatures are those literature which deals with religion, like Vedas, Upanishad, Aryankas, Deepvasam, Mahavasam, Jataks, which tells us about ancient India. And on the other side we have secular literature which are not religious. Like Kautilya has written Kautilya, or another name is Chanakya. He has written Arthashastra, who tells us about the financial management and economic governance. And there is another book called as Indica, which was written by Megasthenes during the reign of Chandragupta Maurya. He was here in India. So he also wrote this book, Indica. So in this slide we discussed about the meaning of history, importance of history, division of past, sources of history. And its sources, we have seen there are two types of sources, archaeological as well as literary sources, and we discussed both of them in detail. Now in next slide, in part 2 of this chapter, we are going to discuss about the geographical impact and the concept of dates in history. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching.